Hello everyone, my name is Silweed and welcome to the very first episode of Community Council. So, I read through the comments on the previous video and a lot of people had a lot of things to say. There were so many comments that I had to go through, but I picked the ones that I figured would be most relevant. There were a lot of good ideas in there, and just because your comment didn't get picked for this particular video, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to talk about it in the next episode, because in each episode is basically just like a little topic, small topic, or well, just at least one topic basically that we focus on mainly, and then so we can discuss that, because if we're just taking a lot of different topics, it's just going to be too confusing and too kind of like a big rumble of stuff. So that's what I was planning on doing, and today I picked out 3 different comments that we're going to talk about, so let's just jump right into it. This one was suggested by Volcano Plays, and they said, I think that the developers should replicate Berk like it's shown in the movies. Now, the island of Berk is a very big place in the movies. It's a huge island with a lot of Vikings inhabiting it and dragons as well. The one we have in game is quite different from that. While the place has the overall same shape, it is of a much smaller scale, and a lot of the things are not as we see it in the film. There are very fewer huts, there are a lot less space. Although it is a pretty big map, it is not even close to what we have in the movies. And this is also built after the one we see in the first film and in the first series as well. They later then upgraded everything to be from How to Train Your Dragon 2, everyone got older, but Berk stayed the same. And while the island does stay the same in the movie as well, there is certain alterations that have been going on, such as new houses, a bit of a different layout, some things have changed. I like the idea of this, that we can have a map that is very accurate to the film, but however, we also got to keep in mind that that would require an immense amount of programming, a lot of data, a lot of objects, a lot of buildings that would simply take too long for the game to load. School of Dragons is a game that can also be played from the browser, and that's something that limits the amount of stuff that you can actually have in each map without the game lagging very much if there's too much data to load. So the problem with building a map of Berk that is, you know, a replica of the one we see in the film is that it's just not practical in a gameplay sense. And School of Dragon is a very adaptable game in a sense, because they have both the downloaded version, a browser version, and a mobile version. So it has to be something that can meet all those places, all those ties have to be meeting somewhere. So it would be very difficult for them to do that. However, I do think that there are a lot of things about this Berk that is different from what we see, and they could make alteration to it without completely changing everything. I should also mention though that we have extensions to Berk. We have the Berk Docks now, and we have Sven's Farm as well, which are also technically parts of Berk. They're just extension of it, which then go into different maps. But they're still the same island, so that's the way that the developers kind of trying to give us a bigger idea of Berk, but kind of make it still processable for the games to do it. So I think the developers are trying to do something that is similar to what we see in the films. Berk Docks is very new, it's a very nice place, I think it looks great, it looks absolutely amazing, and it really reminds us of what we see in the film. So I think it's a very nice suggestion, and I can definitely back it if the Berk we see, the main island, will get a retexture or maybe just some alterations. You don't have to change the basics of the island, but to make it a little bit more like the one we see in the movies, I would not mind that. But at the same time, I also have to be realistic and think, okay, what's possible for the developers? And as interesting as it could be, it is not one of the more pressing matters. Like, it's not something that is as urgent as a lot of other fixes, but I still think it's a very interesting idea, and that's why I decided to include it here. Next we have NitQ, who said, nice video, but I have a problem. When I try to chat, a white blank pop up on my screen and it won't let me chat. I have sent message to the admins, but they're ignoring me. Silver, please help me. I decided to include this because I think it's something that's very, very prominent factor in the game. Because there are a lot of problems with the chat. A lot of people are experiencing problems with the chat. This is just one of the instances with the chat. My chat is not working either. My problem is that every time I log into the game, I can't chat. I just can't. It doesn't block me, it doesn't say ban, it doesn't say you can't say this in chat. It just every time I type something, it vanishes, it doesn't get sent. Every single time I have to relog into the game. I have to basically get in and get out and then get in again, and it works. Sometimes it works. Even it takes 3 times relogging. I don't know what this is, and it's not as serious as some of the other issues that's been going on, but it's still a problem. The chat is something that is very, very out of order. There are certain words you can't say that doesn't make sense, that why shouldn't you be able to say that. Certain dragon names you can't even say without the chat not allowing you to say those names. And while I understand there has to be a filter on these sort of things, it's still something that needs attention, because a lot of people are having trouble with it, especially with the fact that it doesn't work and the fact that you get banned for saying something simple. You can't even say hope in chat. A very simple word, hope. Like, I hope for a new dragon. You can't say that, it blocks you. Just that's one example of how ridiculous it actually is, and it does need some work. And I think it's fair to say it's a problem, because chatting is a huge part of having a role-playing game. It's really important to have that aspect of it within the game in order for it to work smoothly, because a lot of people want to role-play and do these things, simply just communicate. Buddy, could you not? And now we have the one I really want to talk about, kind of the main thing, the one that I think is it's a very good suggestion. It's very, very nice idea. I'm sure a lot of people have been thinking the same. I have been thinking the same too. But Monster Amanda said, Silver, they should add trading in game to trade dragon eggs and clothes. And this is something a lot of players has been asking for. A lot of people have been wanting this, including myself, because I think it's something that is very, very fundamental for a game like this. I don't even know if you can call School of Dragons an MMORPG, a massive multiplayer online role-playing game, because I think it is, to some extent. I think it really is. With the aspects, you have to tame dragons, you do quests, you do stuff. It's kind of like more of a puzzle and learning experience. It's kind of like an entire different kind of thing, but I think I will classify it as a role-playing game. A trading option is something that's seen in many online games. I've experienced it in pretty much every MMORPG I've been playing in my time, where you can trade and you can sell your stuff with an auction house or likely. And simply just a trade option between players. So you can't trade coins and you can't trade gems, but you can trade items like fish, like produce, any kind of item that isn't a quest item. You could trade mystery boxes, you could trade eggs, saddles, clothes, like Amanda said. And this, I think for me, for example, for me that has so many dragon eggs that I'm never gonna use because I already have all the dragons and more. I could be giving these away instead of them just rotting in my inventory. I could be trading them with other people so that someone could be happy for these dragons. I think that's not a completely unfair suggestion to come with, because it's something that could really help players interact with each other. It would make it more like the actual Viking age. You walk up to someone and says, oh, I have this old cheese, and I see you have that moldy milk over there. Do you want to trade? Yeah, let's trade. And then you trade stuff. Or if you have a Rumblehorn egg and you want to trade it for whatever it might be, Monster's Nightmare, Bonever, Grunkle, whatever your favorite dragon is, you could go ahead and trade that egg for another egg. And I think it's something that it's really something fundamental, because you see it in so many other games that School of Dragons should possibly think about doing something like this, because I think it's really something people would be happy about and that they would want to do. Now it is time for Minor Glitch Feature. that's basically what I wanted to cover in this episode of Community Council. If your submission did not get featured here, because there were a lot of submissions, please try to list it here again if it didn't get mentioned. Don't be afraid to list it again, because I read through a lot of them and a lot of them were really, really good. So I would love to see them again on this episode, and then I can carry them on to the next one. I'll possibly maybe go back to that first episode and look through some of the other ideas to get them out there, because there were some really good ones, but I kind of want to feature only a very small amount for each episode, so that we will have a lot of episodes, but they are very easy to digest, they're very easy to get through. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. So long, fellow dragon riders.